Are you not creating as much as you'd like because you are lacking the right space to work in? If you're like me and most of the artists I know, you don't even have a proper dedicated studio space. So today I want to show you how you can make meaningful art without a studio. If you're craving space to create and just don't have it, I'm going to share with you my go-to secret. I've used it all through my life, through small houses and large, through tiny studio apartments. Even when I lived in my Volkswagen bus for a year, I had a portable art studio in a box. Make sure you stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a creative challenge. I'm Lisa Sonora. I am the founder of Visual Journal Studio. I teach visual journaling as a creative practice for well-being and as a method to help you make more meaningful art. I'm a painter and I produce a lot of work. The truth is, I haven't had a proper art studio space most of my life. My favorite artist studio that I ever had was in Chicago, and it was probably 350 square feet maximum. It was my live-work space in a big building full of artist studios. And I learned how to manage living in a small space, which is kind of cool because tiny house living is all the rage now. Whenever I see a tiny house video, I think, well, that's way more space or way better organized, or they have an amazing kitchen compared to all the studio apartments I lived in. If you live in a big city where space is at a premium and an expense, you know what I'm talking about. I am sitting here right in the middle of my so-called studio right now. It also happens to be my kitchen. Can you spy the refrigerator back there? So I have this bookcase behind me that actually separates my little kitchen space from the main living space. This is one large room. I'm sitting on my couch, and behind my couch I have a 6-foot-long dining room table where I make all my art. And in the bookcase and in a couple of pieces of furniture is where I store all of my art supplies. Having your own art studio in a box is going to ensure that you're able to make your art anywhere, regardless of space limitations. This is a portable art studio in a plastic box. I will give you the measurements of this at the end of the video, but let me show you what's in here. This is my most beloved art kit ever. I've been making these for decades. It's my favorite art kit to give as gifts to people because the size of it, this is the size of a shoebox, a large shoebox, and it will fit easily in a kitchen cabinet or cupboard, under your bed, wherever you have space to stash a little art studio. So let me show you what's in here. I have a full-size 8.5 by 11 sketchbook. This is an accordion file. I'll get to that in a second. I'll show you what I've stashed in here. Paint. This is acrylic craft paint. Let me show you. Whatever you can find at the craft store. A pack of baby wipes. I love these water wipes that are just water. 99.9% water because they don't have any scent, and I just can't stand the smell of those heavily scented ones. I know if you have an actual baby and a diaper, maybe it's a better smell than the diaper, but for those of us using these for art supplies, this is the one I recommend. I have a little set of alphabet rubber stamps, and this container is a 4x6 photo box. I can leave links to these. If I have a little shopping list. Believe it or not, it's hard to find this particular size box that I'm using, the shoe box, but I did find one. I took the rubber stamps out of their original packaging just because I wanted something more compact for myself, because I can also throw these in my journaling bag when I'm traveling. I'm kind of obsessed with making different travel kits for different reasons. So I'm always adapting and changing things, but this is a 4x6 photo box. And then in this box, in here, are just some basic supplies. This is really all you need for visual journaling. These are the exact supplies I share with my students in my visual journaling class, but a pair of scissors, even the ink pad and date stamp, the stuff is totally optional and extra. I just love stamping dates into things. Your favorite writing tools, whatever those are, these are my pen and my all-time favorite marker, the Uni Procky. It doesn't have any smell, it's pretty permanent, it doesn't bleed through paper. Whenever I find these, I buy a handful. I'm always afraid I won't find them again. A glue stick, washi tape, a few little rubber stamps are in here. Actually, this is a sketching guard. I just have it in this box. It's not really supposed to be in here for this kit, never mind. A ruler. I don't use the ruler to measure things, but I use it to tear paper. And that is it. And then, oh, let me show you these. I use expired gift cards or my expired IDs to paint with. So my big tip that I want to give you, if you're intimidated by painting or keeping an art journal or keeping a visual journal, is forget about the paint brushes. Use your baby wipe and use a gift card to get your paint on the pages, because paintbrushes are intimidating. You don't need to paint with a paintbrush or your fingers. If it was good enough for kindergarten art class, it's good enough for us, for our visual journal. So I love to keep everything really organized. You also could just throw it in the box. So I'm putting it all back in here, along with my rubber stamps. So that is the whole kit. You don't even need a lot of colors. This is actually more than you would need, because you can dump your paint on the paper and mix it. And what I love about these craft paints is they're super opaque. And you only need a few drops on your paper. It really goes a long way. If you can't find craft paint, grab some little tubes of gouache, the kind that is the cheapest. I find that the really cheap paints work great for visual journaling because they dry quickly and your pages won't stick together. I mentioned this accordion file. What is in here? Not filing. This is a great way to store paper, collage materials. I have cut up paintings that I put in mine. So these are edges of paintings I rip off and I use in my sketchbooks. Scrap paper, collage paper, scrapbook paper, that's what I meant to say. Pieces of that. This is pieces of my palette paper from when I'm painting. I never can bear to throw it out, so I tear it up and put it in here. A handful of yummy vintage ephemera. This gets glued in. The sketchbook. Colored copy paper is really fun to write on and paste in your visual journal or cut up. So you don't need fancy art supplies. You don't need a lot of supplies. In fact, I think the simpler that you keep things, oh, I promised to measure this for you too. The simpler you keep things, the more you are going to work in your sketchbook. So it's always fun to flip through a few pages and just show you. So all my pages are made showing you the various supplies. You see this shiny piece of plastic in here? You might see the logo. This is actually a FedEx plastic envelope thing. I think when I was cleaning out an office, I came across a bunch of these that someone didn't want, so I took it and glued it. It makes a great pocket for your sketchbook. This is one of my own photographs I took of an abandoned building that someone graffitied, and this was in Berkeley, California. So definitely develop your photos, get them off your phone, print them, and use them in your sketchbook. So that is that. So like I said, it's an 8.5 by 11 sketchbook. It just fits in here. Put the cover on. And let me measure this for you so you can see the exact size. I'm left-handed, so everything's backwards. Okay, here we go. So it is about 14.5 inches. Let's call it
15 just to be safe. A little bit less than 15 inches or 38 centimeters long. And then this side is about 10 inches wide, 10 and a half in the middle. No, 10 and a quarter inches, about 26 centimeters. Can you see that okay? I hope so. I've got my camera squished down here. Okay, so that is that. They call this either I think it's a boot-sized plastic container. Okay, this one in particular comes from the Container Store, but I think you have to order dozens of them. If you just want one, I have a link in my supply list where you can just buy one perfect plastic box. And then you have an at-home or in the car art studio that you can keep tucked away and handy so that you work on it more.
Now, as promised, my creative challenge for you is to put together your own studio in a box. Let me know in the comments what you're using for your container and what sorts of supplies you put in it. I'd love to know. Putting together a studio in a box is a wonderful gift for someone else. Creating a studio in a box is my go-to hostess gift when I'm visiting artist friends of mine, even though they have a million art supplies, even though they have all the things that are in the box probably. I just love presenting them with this beautiful, simple, portable art kit. And when I've done this, the feedback I've gotten from my artist friends is they'll say, yeah, I have all these supplies, but there's something about having them all together in one kit that is making me create more. I just love pulling the box out. If you have kids, make them an art studio in a box. You can get the boot-sized container that I show you. That's my go-to favorite one. And it fits in a kitchen cabinet. And it's so great because you have a kitchen table or a kitchen counter. You can pull out the box and your kid could be there doing some art projects, working in their own sketchbook while you're doing something else, or maybe while you're working. I just realized the whole time I've been recording that someone's been snoring the whole time. So not only is this my art studio, kitchen, living room, dining room, it's also the dog lounge area for a dog or two or three. Rocky, can I cut your toes? That'll wake him up. He doesn't like his toenails cut. If you can hear Rocky's snoring, I hope my mic didn't pick that up. Here, it's always